Hello guys, Matthew here and welcome back again to my channel. For all of you out there who don't need a smartwatch, either because you don't need to have all of those features on your wrist, or you just refuse to cash out that much for something like that and would rather get a proper watch, today I have something that will maybe get your attention as it's really affordable, but at the same time it's really a capable little thingy, Xiaomi's new Mi Band 3. This is their gateway model to an affordable Fit Band, which has some smart feature integrations with your smartphone. It's not a full-blown smartwatch by any means, but it gets a lot of things right. That said, if you're familiar with their first generation of Mi Band models, you can probably notice a rather big change with the Mi Band 3, and that's the addition of the screen, which came in with the second generation of Mi Band, and now in its third generation it's also present, but it's double the size, just a bit below 0.8 inches. Yes, it's still a tiny one, but it makes a world of difference in everyday use. Another big added feature is that it's now completely waterproof, up to 50 meters to be precise, thanks to its IP67 certification. So yes, you can go swimming with it, shower, wash dishes, or accidentally spill a beer over it. As you've probably noticed from the B-rolls, the module itself can be easily interchanged with different straps, just like with the previous generation, which straps are, I think, also compatible with this one. You'll get a black one within the product box, while here I also got a dark blue and a red pinkish one. I think Linus would like this one. Of course, these are not the only ones available, there's plenty of other colors to choose from. Basically, every flavor is covered, so you can get your swag on. The band itself is of decent quality, as well as the module. I had no complaints whatsoever, everything considered. It's comfortable enough and easy to clip up, but do note that I found myself unhooking it a few times by accident, at the edge of a table for example, so that's a thing. Hardware-wise, what's in it? The chipset is unknown, at least to me, as I couldn't dig up anything about it, but we do have an ADI ultra-low power acceleration sensor, coupled with photoelectric heart rate sensor, and all of that being paired with Xiaomi's proprietary operating system. The only thing that's missing from those so-called standard feature is a GPS chip, but that would be a long stretch. It's unreal to expect something like that in a product like this one, before all on account of its price and its overall size, and when I say that, I'm referring to the battery. There's also a version of the Mi Band 3 with an NFC chip in it, but as far as I can see it will only work with Mi Pay app, and I don't know how it will behave outside of Asian market, as for now it doesn't support apps like Google Pay or other globally popular payment apps. Getting back to the screen, it's touch sensitive, so you can navigate your way around the menus. The way Xiaomi did the navigation and on-screen menus is pretty simple, but good enough when it comes to information you get out of it. There's a main touch sensitive button on the bottom, which is more like an indent below the screen, and it's used for activating the screen or as an OK button when you long press it. The other way you can wake up the screen is by enabling the lift wrist option, which works like a charm, though it has a bit of delay. Other than it, the screen itself can be used for swiping left or right, up and down, where you have, beside the main home screen, a few different menus with their own informations or settings. Overall, I had no problems using it in terms of its screen, but it takes a while to get used to how it responds to the touch, and it's a very clear, direct and distinct gesture. The screen itself has a resolution of 128 x 80 pixels, which sounds really low, but for this screen size it's more than enough. The only real concern I had with it is that it's really hard to read from in a direct sunlight, sometimes barely possible. There's a total of 6 main screens, so to speak, minus the home screen, which shows the connection status, time, date and number of steps, but it can be customized, more on that later on. The second main screen is one where you can again check your number of steps, distance covered by doing them, as well as calories burned, finished off with the battery level status, which is a bit of an odd choice to put here. The third main screen is the heart rate monitor, which starts its measuring with a long press of the touch sensitive button below the screen. Speaking of it, I found my experience with it a bit polarizing. In a way, it's like a 50-50 chance that the result will be somewhat correct or recorded at all, but that's to be expected with a photoelectric heart rate sensor. The fourth screen shows a 3-day weather forecast, fifth screen will show you push notifications coming from the smartphone, while the last screen is like, here's that other stuff we put in screen, where you'll find a stopwatch function, possibility to wirelessly enable silent mode of your smartphone, or to find your smartphone phone by calling it if you don't know where it is. Here you will also find a setting for customizing the main home screen layout, which for now we only have 3, and I'm hoping they will work on that in future to bring in more. Putting the hardware part of the new Mi Band 3 on the side, the other software side of it is represented through an app which closes that hardware-software circle and pushes its usability onto another level. For that we have Xiaomi's Mi Fit app in charge, which is also used with wide range of other Xiaomi's products. In the context of the Mi Band 3, the Mi Fit app covers a lot of ground in its interaction with it. The app itself has a bunch of menus and settings that you have to discover for the first time, and it can be a bit overwhelming and confusing in terms of navigation and layout. As for the features beside the regular stuff like counting your steps and transforming it into a distance or burned calories, it can track your sleep and tell you if you're getting enough of it and what's your deep and light sleep ratio. You can also input and track your weight or pair related data with other devices like Xiaomi Smart Scale and so on, while all of that information is neatly laid out in very detailed statistics and visualized in cool little facts. The algorithm is pretty precise when it comes to counting the steps and distance solely based on the motion and acceleration sensor, but of course it can be tricked just by shaking your hand, or it can lag behind if you're, for example, carrying something in your hand which has the band on, as that hand doesn't move much or at all in that case. You can bump up its precision with using a smartphone and its GPS when you are going out for a run, for example, or any other activity which is on your disposal to choose from within the app. My biggest gripe about the app and the band itself is related to notifications which are being pushed to the Mi Band. To put it simply, it just doesn't work. In particular, in my case, it worked for one day after the initial setup, then it stopped working the next day, after which I've ended up in a troubleshooting wormhole trying to solve it, but in the end it just wasn't worth it. You need to reset the app by cleaning the cache or by uninstalling it, but even that doesn't guarantee you that it won't happen again. I saw a lot of users having this exact problem. They definitely need to address it as soon as possible, especially since this is a pretty important feature. Finally, as a last note, probably the most important thing, as with every other band-like smartwatch gadget, is of course its battery life. In the case of the new Mi Band 3, it's basically the same as compared to its predecessor, which is a bit strange since they've bumped up the screen size, but they've also went from 70 to 110 mAh in battery size, which is the reason why the battery life is pretty much similar to the previous model, so you can expect anywhere from 10 to 15 days of battery life, at least in my experience, which is more than good enough considering that you can pick up its full charge in basically 1 hour or so. This little thing can for sure do a lot, especially since you can get it for around $30. Actually, you can get it for even less since GearBest currently has it on discount. Also, as before, just to be clear, GearBest provided me with one on my request since I found it very interesting to review it completely freely and on my terms, so this is not a sponsored video. That's it for this time from me. Thank you once again for watching. Feel free to toss me a thumbs up if you like what you saw. That really helps me a lot. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And if you already are, be sure to press that notification bell down below so you don't miss out on a new video. And until then, catch you later, guys.